Call the meeting to order at, it's fast, but we'll go by it, 7:03 p.m. Let's go through our roll call. Ms. Alfonso Wells,
Oh, I'm present here, active.
Mr. Haynes,
Present.
Mr. Miser let me know he may not have been able to be here, so we'll see if he pops in late. Mr. Quinn also notified me that he is under the weather and won't be here. Ms. Stribling,
Present.
Ms. Swartzwelder, here, and Mayor Swartzwelder.
Here.
All right, let's move on to our public comments. We have Alexa Lee to speak about banning unsupervised and tethered dogs. So if you want to stand on that X, that's probably the best place for the cameras and microphones to pick you up. And you have 3 minutes. The floor is yours.
Okay, cool. Hi, to all members of council, thanks so much for having me. I had emailed about this previously. I think that Swissvale should ban residents from leaving their dogs tethered and unsupervised outdoors. The city of Pittsburgh recently passed a similar ordinance, I believe in 2019. So I think it would make sense for the borough of Swissvale to pass the same ordinance, given that, we share a border with them. Also, there are several safety reasons why it should be illegal to leave a dog tethered and unsupervised outdoors. One, leaving a dog chained up or tethered outside is unsafe for the dog. Dogs can injure themselves and, no one's there to help them. The dog can break loose. I myself have found several dogs wandering around with the chain still on their neck. So, obviously that's not safe for the dog. Secondly, it's very frightening for passerby, walking past or running past, trying to enjoy your walk through the neighborhood, and there's somebody's dog, coming at you, you may not see the tether. It's not clear that the tether is going to hold. The dog snapping and snarling at you. It's just an unpleasant experience. Third, the legality of chaining up a dog and leaving them unsupervised encourages irresponsible pet ownership and potentially neglect, right? Currently, you're allowed to leave your dog unsupervised, potentially for several hours. A year or two ago, there was someone who lived on my block on South Braddock who was leaving a very large Pyrenees chained up outside for several hours a day. The dog was snapping at everybody and growling at people who went past. The dog was covered in mats, like it hadn't seen a fresh water bowl in days. It was just an obvious neglect situation, but that is currently legal in the borough of Swissvale. Sorry, my phone locked. Fourth, chained up dogs make the neighborhood seem unsafe and discourage people from moving here. Imagine you're thinking about buying a home or opening a business. You walk up to tour the place and there's somebody's chained up dog snapping and snarling at you. It doesn't encourage investment in the community. And then fifth, chained up dogs obviously make mail delivery very difficult and safe. I think we owe it to our mail carriers to provide a safe work environment and a safe community for them to walk through so that we can get our mail. So for all of these reasons, I think the borough should ban leaving dogs chained up and unsupervised. Like I said, the city of Pittsburgh has passed a similar ordinance. We could just copy and paste and use their exact same language. It does allow for the dog to be chained up if the owner is there with them. So if you're unloading things out of your car, you're gardening or whatever, you want to sit on your front porch and read the newspaper, you can sit there and have your dog chained up. Obviously, no one is going to sit outside for 4 hours or for 5 hours at a time, so there is kind of a natural time limit, in requiring the owner to be present if the dog is chained up. So, thank you so much for your time and thank you.
Thank you for those comments. I know this was an agenda, like we talked about it last week. I was not here. Maybe when you get to your report, can you just comment on where we left out the process? Just to remind us and figure out what the plan next steps may be. Great, thanks. Next we have Tracy Crombie Collins to talk about Rotary.
Good evening. Swissvale Rotary, pardon me. We're in our 97th year here in Swissvale. On June 12th, we're going to have a cleanup of the Sherman block instead of having a regular meeting. Anybody that would like to join, we're meeting at Goodfellas at 12:30 and then heading over for some cleanup. We are again partnering with the Swissvale Mile. Everybody hopefully has registered, and I've been triple dog dared that you're all losers if you haven't sponsored the club or the race. We are in dire need of sponsors, so we want to get that out there. Registrations right now, walkers 20, runners 25. We got about a third of our field registered. We want to hike that number up. We're about a month away. And we are actually working with the Woodland Hills track coach to hopefully have pacers this year. Since I'm not a runner, I don't know what that means, but it's good news for us. And we are meeting at the Pub in the Park Thursdays at 12:30. So anybody is invited. If you'd like more information, we have a Facebook page, Swissvale Rotary. You can ask me, or you can reach out to any of our other members. Any questions? Thank you.
No phone number, Tracy?
432-6200.
Give Miller to speak about Sedco and Tree Committee.
Okay, so I guess I'll spend a minute and a half on each. All right, Setco, the curb appeal update is we've had 29 people express interest or submit an application. 19 have been approved, and so far we've paid out $5,000. So, and there are more coming in. Wanted to make a note about a meeting that we had with Allegheny Together on May 14th. This was Sedco people, Mr. Batchy, Zansel, both mayor and council member Schwartzwelder. And Allegheny Together is a group that has been around for a while, but it's being reformed and I guess refunded too. So we basically took them on a little walk through the business district, saw what we needed, what issues were, and they were going to, hopefully in the future, be able to provide us with help with things, grants that can be applied for by the borough. So I mean, it looks like it was a very productive meeting. And Sedco's, I think our next step in this whole thing is we're working on a plan to try to do data collection about businesses in Swiss that are currently in Swissvale. So we have some kind of base to start from. And the other thing too is looking nearer term, and I know Dr. Councilor Schwartzwelder is some ideas of potentially adding some new ordinances for vacant properties, such as like Helmstead has a series of them that may be able to help with our empty buildings that nobody can do anything. So that's Sedco. Tree Committee wanted to give a special shout out to borough staff, Mr. Batchy and Mr. Ambrosio, the DPW crew. The long hours they spent trying to recover from devastating April 29th storm. So thank you again. Said the tree committee attended a Connect Canopy Alliance cohort meeting at Tree Pittsburgh facility on May 29th. And the idea of this was we had been talking with them about, what we need in the way of trees, planting, everything else. And this was a way where they had different organizations available to talk to, whether it's things like Land Force, Tree Pittsburgh, etc. So we were kind of network. And this also was a way to, we had, I think there were 11 or 12 local municipalities represented. And they basically went through how bad was it for you in the storm? How did you recover? Basically their survey. So I must say, from everything we've heard from everybody else, Swissvale did a A+ job. So again, let's say that. We submitted a fall 2025 tree vitalizing grant application for planting. It included about 16 trees for resident tree requests and a couple for businesses. So that we'll find out about that, and planting would be in probably October, November, when it get approved. The last thing was, it's on Facebook page and on the borough website, June 24th, or June 14th, 9 to noon. We're going to be working on the trees along Edgewood Avenue along the busway, try to clean the tree pits out, remulch them, etc. It's very visible row of trees and they need a lot of help. So anybody who's able to They'll about 9 to 12 on the 14th. That's.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mary Miller to speak about the Swissvale Democratic Committee.
Hello, everybody. I am on the Swissvale Democratic Committee, and since the May primary, there's been a lot of confusion and chatter and talk about what exactly are the rules that govern putting out political signs and how long they can be out, how long they can stay out, who can take them down, who has to pick them up. So we have reached out to the Allegheny Democratic Committee and the County Elections Board. So they're gonna give us information on broadly what those rules are. But I was wondering what specific ordinances there are in Swissvale, if there are any, if anybody knows what those would be. Just so that we could put together some sort of a public facing piece of information that we can get out to everybody so that there's no confusion come November. So if, someone can just reach out to us and give us that information.
Did you put at the top of the, whatever it is that's put out, it is illegal, to take signs down from somebody else,
Right,
out of somebody's yard?
right. That's
That's
exactly
gross.
what we want to get out
It
there, like
happened.
where they can be, where they can't be, if you take one up, what the consequences are. But I just don't know specifically in Swissvale what the guidelines are.
It is 100% illegal to pull any sign from anybody's yard. And for some strange reason, this past season, we've never had that before, or if they did, I didn't hear about it. But this past season, signs were going missing, signs were being pulled, some from people's backyards. In public spaces in Swissvale, you are allowed to put up your signs. You can put up your signs in, the parklet, you can put up your signs in some of these little empty lots or whatever. You can't put up your sign, in that median on Braddock, right? You cannot put up your sign in the median on Braddock. That's the middle of the road, probably shouldn't be going up there anyway, but that's the one place I know you can't put it up. So we're gonna try to get some of this information together. I think it's, absolutely important that people know that they can and cannot put stuff up, but also that people know that they can't remove the signs. Because I know several candidates had their signs. And I think that's awful, and I did notice that some of the organizations that do remove signs that are associated with PennDOT managed to remove all of the political signs, but did not manage to remove, like this last month. There are all kinds of advertising signs out there that they didn't manage to remove. So I find that to be, a little suspect as to why, they had to remove all the political signs within a month of the election. Right, and I have to say that most of the organizations do a very good job. So when they do the tree planting on the 4th, or the planting on the 4th, the signs are put down for people to still be able to put it back up. So that when those signs disappeared on that one, right? But there were other places where the signs were disappearing. So,
Right, so that,
and people are very cautious about not touching signs. And I know that they make an effort not to touch the signs. I know you make an effort not to touch the signs. You'll put them down, but people come and.
Well, the parkway planting, that is a PennDOT,
Right,
that is their property. And I sign a contract with Western Pennsylvania Conservancy regarding political signs. They are not allowed. So I do remove
on
them on that site.
so that's that's why I'm asking, so if someone could just, give me
Yeah, I
some
signed a
Swissvale
contract saying that I
specific
will remove
information
all
about
signs.
where they are and are not allowed, then we'll put something together and get it out to the public.
Yeah, so
And I will say, I mean, just on the PennDOT side of it, if it is a on ramp, off ramp, they will remove the sign, and they're not required to leave them waiting. Or inside.
I mean, I definitely understand that.
If they're cutting grass, they are instructed to remove the signs and toss them.
And I would agree that they could remove the signs, but they didn't remove everybody's signs. And some of the signs were not only, most of the signs were left, and then some signs were tossed across the street and under bushes upside down, right? So that is not in the spirit of anything. And once again, I see signs all over the place that haven't been touched right now. So, clearly, the political signs were touched, but all the other signs and some other political signs have been left. So if you're gonna do it, you do it evenly. You don't just remove some people's signs and, leave others up.
And also, with that being said, for those who are volunteering at these polling places, can you kind of type something up to give them the understanding of how they cannot go into these polling places with candidate paraphernalia on, how far they must stand from the doors, so that they're clear that they're not overstepping the boundaries of the polling places?
That's up to the polling on.
Yeah, that's we can consider putting that in there, but
Because
the point
everybody
of this
doesn't
was
know the
strictly
process.
just, for the borough, what are the rules for the signs? But yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, there are people who,
If I can ask, as part of your guidance seeking from the county, if you could ask them what's appropriate for committee members to be handing out and what's not.
Okay.
Such as endorsed candidates versus unendorsed.
Okay.
Thank you.
So just to recap what I heard and, Mr. Baxter, if you can touch base with perhaps Mr. Keenan, or if you can do a little bit of research so that we have a comprehensive understanding of what I'm hearing you say is specifically for our borough, what the rules are for this, so that leading up to the November election, we can make sure that we are finding ways to educate our residents as to
Right.
what to expect.
Exactly.
yeah,
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Last one, I apologize if I butchered the name.
I know you're gonna get it wrong.
Well, thank you. You wanted to speak about the library.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank, Public Work guys. I see you guys did some saw cutting and stuff and filled some holes up, so I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. The other thing is, yes, I'm having some issues. I actually went to the library today. I have a boot on and there's no handicap accessibility. I think I was told last meeting that it's part of Braddock, you and Brett, y'all switch or, so is that our library? Is that Swissvale's library?
Yes, go ahead and make your statement and then I'll respond to it. If there's-
Yeah, I was pretty much wondering what was the timeline or any type of information as far as getting a handicap accessibility to the library. It's a very used library all the time. They have a lot of different programs in there and things like that. So it really needs to be handicap accessible.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to update on that.
Absolutely. So, this is a great meeting for you to bring this up because we have some folks that you can talk to, here, about that. So the library is operated and run by the school district.
Oh,
Woodland Hills.
Woodland Hills,
Yes.
okay.
Agreements going back to property up on Evans Street and all of that kind of brought that, to bear. They have a renovation plan that would make it handicap accessible, elevator, et cetera. As far as I've heard, that's been, they received an RCAP grant similar to the borough did for our borough building, $1.5 million, national grant to make that. I understand that that's currently on hold. I'm not 100% sure of why. I've not had a conversation with the librarian about that, but, it is owned by the school board, so that's where you should, make your
Like
desire.
go to like a school district meeting, school board meeting, or things like that.
I'll
something
talk
like
to
that.
some of these gentlemen that I'm gonna introduce.
talk to us.
Oh, well, there I go. I'll talk to them. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So that's a perfect segue into, I want to introduce Mike Belmont, who is a school board member. He is here to introduce a couple of figures, one who is new to the administration, one who has been on the administration for a little while, but so Mike, you can go ahead and have the floor and make those introductions.
Thank you, Chris. I'll take half a minute. Want to introduce our new superintendent.
Just speak up a little bit. So
I
everyone,
wanted to introduce our new superintendent, Dr. Joe Malushnik, and also our assistant to the superintendent for curriculum, Dr. Eddie Wilson. Thanks in advance for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so we got a question on the floor. And because we have a question on the floor, I'll speak first. My name is Dr. Eddie Wilson. Before I get to the question or even anything other than introducing myself, I'd like to name that the Swissvale Mile is on my birthday this year. So I expect everybody in here to be there to sing me happy birthday.
Registered.
And the council president beat me by less than 10 seconds last year. So if you want to make bets on who wins this year, BetMGM is taking those right now. So to answer your question, Ms. Malika, we as the district, in 1908, there was an agreement between the Swissvale Borough and the district that became Swissvale School District that said that the Swissvale School District would own and operate the building that is the library today. And then when the merger happened, Swissvale Borough or Swissvale District took full ownership of the library, and nobody ever changed that deed over to Woodland Hills School District. So 3 years ago, we got RCAP grants and several other different grants to be able to renovate the library. And then all of those grant people that manage those grants came back to us and said, well, the deed says Swissvale District, not Woodland Hills District. So then we spent the last 9 months getting a deed sold it back to Woodland Hills so we can actually then start the project. Our board is actually voting this month on phase 1 of that project. It's a total of a $1.4 million first phase. It includes a new roof, new pointing, several of those things. The ultimate goal, like you said, and like the council president said, is to have a full elevator, building fully ADA compliant, and be just gorgeous and wonderful. This first phase, we have a slight complexity in that we only have $900,000 raised right now. And it's a $1.4 million project. So we're adding an addendum that, hey, we'll pay for up to 900,000, and then we might have to pause until we get the other money.
I know I donate all the time. though.
and
It
we
is
appreciate that.
Very necessary in the neighborhood, so
Yes, ma'am.
I'm very glad for it.
We appreciate you and all of Swissvale residents use the library. It's definitely a key resource. So expect to see a new roof on that building sometime in the next 2 weeks. We're talking about like end of June for the roof. And then begin other aspects of the project to be completed by Thanksgiving so that if winter hits and we have to pause. So you should see major changes in the fall for the library. All right, so that answers that question. Come to Swissvale, Miles, sing me happy birthday and cheer on the council president, even though he's gonna be right behind me. My name is Eddie Wilson. I'm the assistant to the superintendent for curriculum and instruction for the Woodland Hills School District. I've been here for 5.5 years. I came on right before COVID, and then COVID happened, and we've had 2 superintendents since then. We've got one now that is amazing and is gonna stick and stay, and I'm happy to introduce him, Dr. Joe Maloof.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me real quick. I just wanted to introduce myself. I knew I should have went before Eddie. Eddie loves to get up here, you know? But I could say this about Eddie. In the few months that I've known him, I saw when I was working in the Wilkinsburg district, you're not gonna find anybody more passionate about Woodland Hills School District. That's for sure. You know, his kids and his family, and he lives here as well, so which is great. Plus, I knew he knew the history of that library, so when that came up,
Right.
and we just had a meeting about it today, so I'm still getting caught up on all the properties that we own in the district. I never seen a school district own so many properties, so, but get it taken care of, figure it out. But thank you for having me. I've been on the job for about 2 months. Came from the Wilkinsburg School District. I was there for about 6 years. As a principal, then superintendent, worked under a great superintendent, Dr. Linda Iverson. She was tremendous. Loved my time in Wilkinsburg. But I had a contract that's coming up, and there was only a few school districts I was looking at. School districts that fit me. I'm at the age where I want a district that fits me and is me. And I could tell in the first 2 months, I'm gonna talk about it in my graduation speech tomorrow as well, but this is the district where I was supposed to be. This was the district where I was supposed to end up at the tail end of my career. You know, I could retire in a couple of years, but I hope I can stay 10. And the kids have been great. The community's been great. I finally got to meet, I'm right here today. This morning, I finally got to meet with every staff member at every building. Just to emphasize my priorities of safety, security, the open communication and transparency and how we can get better at that. Don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions and so on. But continuous improvement as well, whether that be socially, emotionally for our kids, behaviorally, attendance, and academics. The one thing I do notice here, and it's been exciting for me here, is, you know, coming from, I've been across 4 counties and 2 states over 30 years. Rural, suburban, now urban, and in Virginia for a while. And I've worked under some great superintendents and some great school districts. One thing we always hear about the athletic programs, but I also heard about the fine arts program. And from 2 counties away, and I actually got to see it in action. I doubted it because one of the guys I knew, he would tell me about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Until I saw it in action, and I thought I was actually on a Broadway show. And if you didn't know, we were competing against one of the top 5 school districts in the states for the best musical. With Hampton School District, I still think ours was the best. And I thought it was great because it kind of, when you think about the history of Woodland Hills School District, I never saw Hairspray. Anybody see Hairspray before? That was my first time, so I didn't know what I was getting myself into. It was a little edgy. I was getting worried that WTAE was gonna be waiting outside, and I was getting my speech ready. But the way seeing our kids up on stage and the history of Woodland Hills and the background of Hairspray, it was perfect that our kids did it. And they did it really well. We're doing some great things here, but one of my goals is to find that other niche. Yeah, our athletics, our fine arts. But the other thing I noticed here, and I got to witness last week, and I was a skeptic. Of our VEX robotics program.
Oh, yeah.
We are the robotics, Pittsburgh, I don't know if you know, is the #1 robotics capital. It's the robotics capital of the world. I did not know that until I was in Pittsburgh Leadership Group 40. We have more robotics companies here than anywhere in the world. We have a unique VEX program and we want to keep expanding it, but I watched it last week with our 3rd grade groups. My first time, I'm not a skeptic anymore because it was more about academic. I watched a kid who never speak at Turtle Creek, a 3rd grader, never speak. They won the semifinal round, and just the social and emotional atmospheres and excitement for that kid was heartwarming, just to watch. And seeing how passionate they are, but the collaboration, the communication, the academic skills, the creativity, the innovation, that's what we want. When you think about those skills that we want for our kids when they leave here, we want them to be creators and innovators. And those VEX programs and our robotics programs, I think is going to get us that other niche. And I've already reached out to Pittsburgh Leadership Group 42, because I was 40, to do their education day at the high school, because our facilities here are the best I've ever seen, by far. Facilities are amazing. So I want Pittsburgh Leadership Group 40 seats, and those are the executives, attorneys, people that make things happen in the city of Pittsburgh. So I want them to see what goes on in the Woodland Hills High School. But also, I also asked the AIU superintendents. We do 4 trips a year to different high schools, and it's always Upper St. Clair and Pine Richland. Well, next year I said, please put us on the list to be the first people on your list, because I think they need to see what goes on in our buildings, not what they hear sometimes on the news. So there's so many good things in the 2 months that I've seen here. And it's great when we have administrators that not only live here and bring their kids here, but we also have some administrators and teaching staff that live here. We have an approval to where they can bring their kids here. So when they're bringing their kids here, that says something about the district. So there's a lot of good things. If there's anything that you guys ever need from me, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm easily accessible. One of my objectives is to definitely get involved in community. And luckily, Mr. Belmont, he's given me the tours. He's hooking me up with all the different boroughs and the councils and whatever I can do to get more involved in community, because I want to be the person to be out there to promote all the positive things that are going on. It's easy to find negatives in every school district, but there's so many great things about our kids, and it's a unique school district, very unique across the state of Pennsylvania for many reasons. So I think I want to build, that's one of my goals, to get that, build that, market our school as, why is it unique? And all the great things going on. But it's a credit to you guys, you get the board over the years, because a lot of great programs, a lot of great buildings, a lot of the great things going on in the district. So I'm excited. I live close. I'm down in East Liberty. Wilkesburg and here was the closest jobs I've ever had. So I love it. So I could be here all the time. It feels like we're here all the time. Of course, Eddie's here a lot. Yeah, Eddie's here a lot. So if you guys need anything, we're here. Reach out. We want to be here for you. We know we're servants of the community and our product is our children. That is our product. And we want to make sure we put the best product out there. And you guys have for years. I got to meet a Tony Award winner at the foundation this year. And we got a surgeon, a doctor speaking at graduation tomorrow night that graduated, so looking forward to it. And I'm open ears, so I'm always around.
Well, I would like to invite you warmly to our Juneteenth celebration on June 29th. It's a Sunday this year. I'd love to see you there, and I will email you a scholarship opportunity that I have been trying to get Woodland Hills to take advantage of for the last 5 years. And I will, once again, I will email that to you, and hopefully we can get some of our kids to take advantage of the scholarship.
For this year's seniors,
It will be for the seniors for next year, but I would
we'll make it.
love to make sure you know about all the details so that you can get it to the teachers and the students so that they can have time to get when I tell you which one it is, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we haven't taken advantage of that.
We will definitely get on that. And I've met some great juniors already. And you know, I'm excited for the seniors tomorrow night, but I met some good junior classmen.
Yes,
Might fit it well.
it will.
Yeah. Any other questions for me?
Just welcome and thank you.
Uh,
And please come to Juneteenth. I think you will find that
June 29th?
a hidden gem in our community.
Yes. And by the way, Goodfellas. That's where I first met the board president. It was good at this place called Goodfellas. So been there a few times now. So. But yeah, I'll put it on the calendar. So I'm glad you told me that, so I'll plan around.
Oh, so when you get this email from me, make sure you answer it.
We'll take care of it.
I don't want to go in the pile.
No, that's all right. We get through them. I'm getting better at going through. So we'll get through.
Under
it.
200 now.
I'm under 200 now. 200. Plugging away at it. So anything else? I
I will
appreciate it.
say, you talked about Vex, Woodland Hills this year sent a team of fifth graders to Worlds, qualified and competed in the World's competition for Vex.
Thank you. In the world. That's awesome because we got to watch our kids, they were with a South Korean group, collaborating with a South Korean group on a VEX program. I mean, how many school districts get to do that? It's unbelievable. And that's how we create future innovators and creators and, you know, come back and make a difference in our community. Thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome. And we're gonna keep using it. Like I said, we gotta keep plugging that, you know, because it is a battle out there.
It is.
We have a unique battle with charter schools that in this region and parts of Philadelphia, there's probably about 12 school districts that fight a unique battle with charter schools. That's unheard of. Places I've been, it's not like that. So we got to market ourselves and we have a great marketing team too as well. So we just got to keep getting the good word out there. So if there's anything you need from me, I'm a phone call away, you know where we're at. And I guess we're gonna be moving to the high school soon too. So, you know, but email, phone call, whatever it may be. All right. Thank you for everybody down here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Wilson, if I can ask a favor, you can always say no, but in the board meeting, you said you're gonna be voting on the library. If that goes through, could you send some of those details of what to expect to Ms. Ansel so she can, because we get that question a lot. What's happening with the library? And I feel like I'm usually in the know and you shared some information for me tonight, so that would be helpful for us, if it's okay for us to publicize some of that, but
Absolutely.
great, thank you. All right, let's move on to our council actions. Let's start with 4A minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of the April 30th, 2025 council agenda meeting and the May 7th, 2025 council meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 4B, finance.
I move to approve the Borough of Swissville paid bills in the amount of $444,495.52.
You swap the ones in 2000s place.
You too.
Yeah, try it. You can just clarify the amount.
440. Oh
$145.
my God. It's been a long day.
Okay.
$445,494.52.
Perfect, thank you. Just want to make sure that's clear on the front. Someone second.
Second.
All right, motion's on the table. Any discussion?
Gotta pay our bills.
There are bills. Let's vote to pay such bills. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go down to personnel.
Before I read all the names of these positions, I just want to know the fire committee, with Chief Wilhelm, myself, and Kevin Haynes and Brittany, we all met and interviewed each of these candidates. So we, by the recommendation, we have these, ones who are going to be promoted. So I'm gonna read all five and then Kevin's gonna take the next ones. So I move to promote Anthony Lewis to the position of shift commander in the Swissville Fire Department with all wages and benefits as set forth in the collective bargaining agreement between Swissville Borough and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1680.
Second. Okay, motion's on the table. Any discussion? Let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to promote Jonathan Mattis to the position of engineer in the Swissville Fire Department with all wages and benefits as set forth in the collective bargaining agreement between Swissville Borough and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1680.
Second. Any discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to hire Nathan Hazlitt as an engineer in the Swissville Fire Department with all wages and benefits as set forth in a collective bargaining agreement between Swissville Borough and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1680.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to hire Brett Steele as an engineer in the Swissville Fire Department with all wages and benefits as set forth in a collective bargaining agreement between Swissville Borough and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1680.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to hire Alyssa Innocenti as a fire marshal in the Swissville Fire Department with all wages and benefits as set forth in a collective bargaining agreement between Swissville Borough and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1680.
Second. Discussion. All in favor of approving the motion as read? Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick, and I'm gonna say this for all 8 of these. 9 of these. We had wonderful candidates. We are very, very, very lucky to welcome these folks to Swissville and our workforce. I think they're gonna be a wonderful addition to the team that the chiefs have put together. And I applaud their willingness to come here and stay here and promote here and continue to make Swissville what it is. Amazing.
Here, here. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to hire Dean Selfridge, Anthony Shuey, Joseph Flanick, Joseph Flanick. Flanick, if I've said your name wrong, I apologize. And Mitchell, Break Iron as part-time firefighters in the Swissville Fire Department with all wages and benefits as set forth in the collective bargaining agreement between Swissville Borough and the International Association of Firefighters, Local 1680.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's move down to 4D, active transportation plan.
I move to approve ordinance number 25-04, adopting an active transportation plan.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. A lot of people put a lot of hard work into that. So glad that it's coming to fruition. Let's move down to 4E, council discretionary funds.
I move to approve a council discretionary fund expenditure in the amount of $5,950 to be used for the purchase of street sign toppers that display the Swissville Borough logo.
Second.
Any discussion?
We've gone back and forth. Greg, thank you very much. Mr. Batchy, thank you very much for shepherding this forward. We believe that this is the least expensive, most efficient, highest quality signs that we're able to get. Getting 7 GB, 85 new signs. that will display our, borough logo. So folks, especially on the main arteries coming in and out of Swissville, which will allow folks to understand where they are, quite frankly. We have 22,000 cars that pass down South Braddock. All they know is they're going down the Kennywood exit. Well, we're more than that. So the Schwartzwelder signs at the entrances, and then complemented by these, new street signs and sign toppers. It'll really help folks to understand where they are and help curb people's understanding of who and what we are, rather than just that one bad news story we get a year. But we're much more than that, so.
Yeah, thank you. And people notice, I mean, you already referenced Ms. Swartzwelder signs. I have friends who were renting in Swissville when they bought a house, they ended up buying in Penn Hills. And they were back visiting and they're like, where did these signs come from? And basically wish they were still living in Swissville, but they made their decision. So yes, thanks for the work you both have put into cultivating that sense of pride and identification for our community.
And I love the Bird Town. People are surprised that we
That was another
are,
thing they brought up, yeah.
the Bird Town.
Yeah, and the Tree City USA, I get questions weekly.
Yep.
I didn't know that. And the signs have been up for how many years? We're like 8 years, Tree City, and nobody noticed them until they were there, so.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Ready to vote?
Yeah.
All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Go to 4F.
I move to approve resolution 25-12 to apply for funding through the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Multimodal Transportation Fund to continue the streetscape on Monongahela Avenue.
Second. Any discussion? Let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to 4G.
I move to approve resolution 2513, declaring the structures located at 2453 Woodstock Avenue and 2462 Woodstock Avenue as dangerous and blighted structures.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 4H, emergency declaration.
I move to extend the emergency declaration as a result of the April 29th, 2025 storms and an additional 60 days with an expiration date of August 4th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think it's really important that we have this, and that we've done an excellent job trying to mitigate the damage that has been caused, but we also need to make sure that this emergency declaration is extended so that we can continue to work with cleanup, so that people can get their properties back in shape and that the streets can be put back together.
Do you anticipate that we would need to extend it any more beyond this?
We're hoping we can have it completed by that day.
Just because, I mean, the council meeting around this would be August 6th. So we would have to extend it in July. July's council meeting?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can stop the declaration.
Okay. Okay.
But I think, if I talk to Mr. We're pretty certain. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, Mr. Ratchie, how much longer did the county executive extend her declaration?
I don't know.
I know it was extended for the same.
It was extended, but I'm not.
For the same reason, so I mean, I should make sure.
Yeah, we're pretty much saying.
They would extremely. And then Mr. Ambrose's team at DPW, we have the best DPW in all of Western Pennsylvania, if not all of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Don't tell the workers that I represent that, but we do have a pretty good, pretty awesome DPW team that was out there. Our streets were clean. If people want to know where they are, it's not just the color of the sign, as I think Josh mentioned, Mr. Miner mentioned last week. But it's also, you know, where Edgewood or Swissville ends and other boroughs begin. That's where the snow started. Where the trees were still down. Our DPW, they work tirelessly to make sure that we are all able to get to work, get back to work, and all we hear about is complaints about garbage, but they do a pretty darn good job with the garbage and street cleaning. So.
Ready to vote? All all in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's go to 4I.
I move to approve the guidelines, sorry, for street closures by residents for block parties and similar events.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think there it needs to be, I'm not gonna object to this, but I think there needed to be a little better consideration of what the guidelines were and where, and a little more input from the community, rather than just pumping up last. I think that there's an impact on people's plans that are potentially adversely impacted by this decision, but I will not be voting no, I'll say.
I mean, I will say that if there are certain residents that feel hindered or encumbered by this, an active council can alter this at any time. So it's not, that this is locked in stone forever and ever. I think these are good guidelines, but if there are folks that can make a good persuasive reason of why they need to change, that is always a possibility. So just to address that as well, that there is not flexibility, but there is opportunity for change in the future.
I also thought the list was very comprehensive and very well done. And the map.
All right, let's vote. All in favor of approving the motion as read, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And abstentions?
Yes.
One abstention. Okay, motion carries. Let's move down to 4J.
I move to approve the formation of a regional police department with Braddock Hills Borough effective January 1st, 2026, contingent upon both municipalities drafting and approving an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the parties.
Second.
Motion from the table. Any discussion?
Just a couple things that I brought up last week, but I want to reiterate. One, I think it's extremely important as part of these bylaws that our mayors have permanent seats. I know we'll have 5 seats. One of those seats, at least for us, needs to be held by the mayor. And I would encourage us to have the neighboring community as well have their mayor on as well. I don't want anybody to question the authority of the mayor when it comes to running the police department. So as we're merging the police department, I think we're taking some authority away from the mayor. And by guaranteeing a permanent seat, I think that that helps alleviate that structure is the structure. The government structure, taking that authority away from the mayors, I think is a slippery slope. But if I feel more comfortable if there's a permanent seat for the mayors on the advisory or the governance committee. Second, I brought this up and I mentioned this to a couple of people. I strongly encourage as we move forward that we explore a drop pension to help retain some of the talent we have here in Twisted and also attract new talent. Those are very attractive benefits that really don't cost borough a lot of money, or that the commission or the regional police department a lot of money. I think that would help go a long way with retaining and attracting the talent that we need. We have a high quality force. We work their butts off to keep us safe, and so keep forward what's next.
I will say that every iteration of this I've seen has always included both of the mayors from here and from Braddock Hills so that they could, so that they could both have a say over that. That's never not been included. That's always been, and I think even in the plan that they discussed it, that was like prominent, that they would have, it's never not been discussed.
Yeah, my only recommendation is actually codified into bylaws itself, which is the governance.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem with that is once it is codified as an organization, we can't tell that organization as our borough how they can change their bylaws. So it's not possible for us to guarantee a permanent seat in perpetuity, but it's going to be written in a way that the mayors have those seats. And frankly, I mean, we will make up the majority of that board as a council. So I don't see any reason to suspect that that would change. But I just want to make sure it's clear that we can't tell an organization how they, once they are independent, how they need to govern themselves.
given the recent events and other regional police forces that have led the headlines in a negative way, I just think we solved the problem by stating clearly in our intent bylaws. If the organization wants to change the bylaws, whatever govern, are they allowed to change their government? As a regional police department, now, I told you I was gonna make it. As a regional police department, do they control their own bylaws, or is it controlled by the, money bodies?
I believe they could make recommendations to the municipality, but I think it is ultimately up to the municipality.
So both would have to vote to change them, correct? We are, it's fine, I mean, it's a fair point, we're not at the bylaws, we're not voting on the bylaws tonight, and in the pension, that would be another conversation down the line, once the board is formed, if this continues to go forward, those would be conversations that the board would have in terms of how their benefits packages and all those types of things that they'll be offering, so that we put it bylaws, my understanding. What kind of pension did you say?
A drop pension.
See, I don't even know what a drop pension is, so, sure.
Yeah, it's something about to be negotiated in their collective bargaining.
Okay, so it'd be part of the collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing, like Mr. Haynes said, it helps to retain some talent that's in your retirement right now. Something we should seriously look at.
Sure. Yeah, we just aren't voting on those things tonight. I just was trying to be clear. This is just are we continuing to head in the same trajectory so that we can work with Braddock Hills for bylaws and.
And there were changes made to the original that, were some changes in terms of how things were funded, but that, once again, this is just saying we're going forward with the idea, to then work on the agreement. And it's the agreement that we vote on after it's written.
Yeah.
Rich.
Any other comments? Right. All in favor of approving this motion as read, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That's our business for this evening. A lot of motions there. Let's move down to our reports. We'll begin with the COG report, Ms. Stribling.
So Turtle Creek Co-op had a meeting on May 22nd, excuse me. I wasn't in attendance. There was no quorum, by the way. So there was no voting meeting. So that's my report.
Okay. Thanks. We'll go down to the Connect report. Ms. Alfonso.
Yeah, so Connect has been working to make sure that they keep funding from the federal government. So they've been working very hard on going down to this and making sure that their funding doesn't get removed, cut, or otherwise disappear. And Connect has also been working with us feverishly to finish, revise, and redefine our climate action plan, of which Ms. Sebastian has given an amazing assist to make sure that that can be done and probably ready to be voted on by, I think, the next meeting or so, something like that, within the next 2 weeks. So they've been working on that. In the meantime, they continue to look for ways to make sure that they can include and be inclusive of all the neighborhood municipalities. Sometimes we're a pretty good borough, and we're not the richest borough, to be clear, right? But we're able to support belonging to Connect. And so they're trying to make sure that those boroughs that don't have a lot of funding at all are still able to join and take part. Because the point of Connect is to connect us all together and to help each other out by coming together. So they've been working on that, but they always work on that. And once again, everyone is invited to come, and sometimes we have had members of the community actually come to some meetings. And I know the mayor has been there. I know everybody has come to a meeting a time or two. That's okay. Your mom. But everybody's invited to come. If you haven't come, you should come when you get a chance. They always have something. And we also have been doing very well with our LEAD program, law enforcement assisted diversion. Chief Watson has taken a real good lead on that one. And he always makes sure, that we are prominent in the program. So, once again, connect out, or I just disconnected.
Thank you, Ms. Alfonso Wells. I just have a couple of things very briefly for the president's report. Today was the last day of school for the Woodland Hills School District, and I just want to give a big thank you to the crossing guards. They are an indispensable part of our community. Yeah, it's. Our kids are able to cross safely, because traffic, they're not always paying attention. Cars aren't always paying attention or obeying the laws of the road, and so they put themselves, I mean, we got one crossing guard in particular, will thrust herself out in the middle of traffic to stop it, so that they stop so that the kids can cross safely. I also want to.
On that note, I just want to point out that I mean, most folks know that I work in public sector unions. We represent crossing guards. Crossing guards poll second solely to librarian as the most favored public servant. So we have great librarians and we have amazing crossing guards. So so second nationwide, everything. So when you see them, say hi. If they're cold, give them one of those hand warmers, please. I don't need the librarian. Give them love and
books.
Ramps and books and things. So those guys are good books. So that's anyway, sorry, I want to share.
On your note, I just wanted to add that we're always looking for new alternate crossing guards. We need sub crossing guards for next year. So if you know someone, maybe who's retired or they have a flexible schedule and who could be out there kind of on an on-call basis, we would love to get them on board.
So hearing what I've heard tonight, if you know someone who needs to increase their social standing, tell them to apply to be a crossing guard. And they'll be second to the library.
Right.
Well, that segues into the second thing I wanted to say is just a reminder. We talked about this, I believe, last month. The library summer reading program is going to be beginning. This Saturday is their kickoff event, noon to 3 o'clock at the library. It's a great program. It's not just for kids. Adults can also participate. Read those books, get your Dairy Delight, enjoy summer ice cream. So that's Saturday, the June 7th, 12 to 3. The last thing I just wanted to remind, I know there'll be a Facebook reminder that'll go out here soon, but the mural project that we've been working on, there's a survey that is currently live. Just over 2 weeks, it'll be closing. So if you have thoughts and opinions of some of the images of Swissville that you'd like to see included on there, please feel free to respond to that. You can find it on Facebook and our website. That's all I've got for.
And if you have any additional, if you have any additional suggestions for the mural, email the borough so that they can.
Or don't email Barrow, go to the survey because there's spots where you can add. Yes, yeah, there's other on every single category, add another. So you can do it right there on the survey. Right. So that's what I have for my report. Let's go to the mayor's report. Sorry if I saw you crossing something out. Sorry for stealing your thunder.
Everything. I'm sorry. Report tonight. But thank you for everyone for covering all the highlights of our town. Do want to mention Saturday, farmer's market begins.
I actually cannot say that one.
It's our 12th season, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday in the parking lot here at Woodland Hills School District parking lot. So do come and enjoy, you know, the neighborhood farmers market weekly, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Yeah. Also, July 12th, along with the Swissville Mile, is the Edible Garden Tour. That brings a lot of wonderful people into Swissville to see our beautiful gardens. So make sure that you either sign up to have your garden toured or participate in the garden tour after the Swissville Mile. September 6th is our Locomotion Commotion. That will be at the Borough Building /West on Evans Street. More to follow, more details. And Juneteenth, who wants to talk about it?
I can start. Well, Juneteenth is fast approaching. It's Sunday, June 29th. at Let's Get Memorial Park. And it's coming together and it's gonna come to fruition successfully. We have some amazing acts, some different performers that are coming new this year, so we look forward to bringing that to you as well. We still have time if you're looking to become a vendor or a sponsor for Juneteenth, there's still time for you to do that. You can contact myself or Miss Shauna Alfonso Wells. And volunteers, we're looking for volunteers as well. So if you wanted to be a part of something amazing to celebrate freedom, please see us Sunday, June 29th, or contact us now and we'll be happy to give you more information. Want to add any more? The time is from 1, right? So it's 12 to 8 p.m. And we're hopeful that there won't be any rain this year, Keith, so we don't have to cut it off like last year, but it's an amazing time for the whole community to just get together and celebrate Juneteenth.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have some really great food vendors. We're also gonna have some line dancing. So if you ever wanted to get your line dance on, this is the time to do it, right? If you ever felt like, man, I wonder what it's like to be at a cookout and do a line dance, this is your moment to come in and do that. There will be an instructor there that's going to help you get your line dance.
Boots on the ground.
That's right. So I want everybody to shake their thing while we're there, and it should be a lot of fun. And once we have different acts that are coming in, and we have different members of the community doing health checks and other types of things that are gonna go on there. So it's gonna be amazing, and everyone is invited. I know I usually see most of you there anyway, so come on out. And our DPW crew is always amazing, because they put things up, and take things down, and they're always cheerful about it.
And I wanted to make sure to mention that it is Pride Month, so happy Pride Month to everyone. Any questions, comments?
Pride Month is always every other month too, that's right. So not just now, we can celebrate now, but you can celebrate all the way from July until May, until June again, so that's right.
And it's a big moment for me. I'm a mom of a queer son, and raising a son to that, still giving them the pride that they have as they are. It doesn't have anything to do with their preference. They are still loved like anybody else. So kudos, Fred. I know you're sick, but we're representing pride for you.
Thank you, everyone, for those comments. We'll move to item 5E, Borough Manager Report, Mr. Batchy.
Sorry, it's gonna be much more boring than the last two. Hard to follow that. For those of you on the police committee, I will be reaching out to you in the next couple of days to schedule a meeting. I'd like to start the police committee for the agreement, looking at the agreement for the breach of free court. Work through the committee and then bring a revised agreement to council, the full council. The solicitor for Braddock Hills has looked at the original proposed agreement that Mr. McTiernan circulated to all of us about 4 months ago. He's made some red line markups and stuff, he'd like to see changed. I'd like to go through and have the committee look at that and see if you're okay with it or if not, or what you'd like to propose. And also if there's anything else the committee would like to. So I'll reach out to do the poll and before the end of the week. Try to set something up next week or two to get that done. Second thing, Ms. Lee brought up about the tethered dog ordinance. Where we left this last week was that Chief Watson and Solicitor McTiernan, we're going to look into this, look at the legality of it, look at see if there's a need from the chief's perspective, if there's a need for it, what kind of calls we get on this, and from Mr. McTiernan's perspective, if there is if the legality of it. You have to keep in mind borough code in the city, you have to, we're borough, the city of Pittsburgh, the city, not everything that they adopt. There are certain things, that we have to do a little differently sometimes. So they're gonna look at that and report back at the agenda meeting next month. So that'll be the agenda.
At the end of this month?
End of this month. Yeah, the June, whatever the day is, the end of the 20th. And the last thing was the political sign rules that Mrs. Miller brought up. Mr. McTiernan and previous solicitors and previous jobs I've had have always warned me that they're protected free speech. So the municipality should not get involved and not regulate them, not say where they can go, not remove them, don't touch them. Just basically, The DPW mows the lots, some lots, like the Church Street Parklet where these, where people put them and where they are located, other places. The guys take them out, they mow, they put them back where they were. So they try to be cognizant of the fact, we tell them that they're not to remove them, they're not to dispose them, but we do want the lots to do it, so we do take them out and put them back. As for the agreement that the mayor has with the, PennDOT, I was unaware of that. Another council member had brought that up to me previously, that they're not allowed to be there. I was unaware of that agreement that,
I have a sign. I have a sign.
okay. Yeah, so, but like I said, and anything the borough maintains, we do not, remove them. We may take them out temporarily. But Mr. McTiernan has always warned me, the protected free speech, you could open yourself up to a civil suit for civil rights action. If the candidate's minority, you could open up to another action, or another protected class. So it's one of those things, hands on. So there are really no policies or rules that the borough enforces or has in place for political signs. So there are some private making, like the agreement the mayor has with the PennDOT system fund. That's on PennDOT. But we're not going to go out under any circumstance to remove any signs. Unless somebody puts up a sign that blocks a view of obstructs traffic. The most we're gonna do is not move back. We're not gonna move it, if somebody puts up a 4x8 sheet of plywood that's obstructing an intersection somewhere you can't see. I would ask Mr. D'Ambrosio to go move back 10 feet. We're not going to remove it all together. So that's basically the gist of the rules. There's nothing that we are enforcing based upon our solicitor's recommendation.
But we're not also recommending that people do a 4.4 foot by 8 foot.
No, we don't.
Okay.
I have seen it in the past, but no, we're not recommending.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we
Really
clarify that.
not recommend. So that's all I have.
Mr. Bakshi, Mr. Ziskow is on vacation and not here, so unable to give a report. So we're gonna keep moving down to the Water Authority report, Ms. Crombie Collins.
Hello again. This is an overview of the Wilkinsburg Penn Joint Water Authority Board meeting that happened on May 27th. The Customer Advisory Council met for the first time on May 21st. A representative from HomeServe USA was in attendance to answer questions about an NLCC service line warranty program that we're considering. Penvest Grant Phase 2, the consumer side of the project is complete. Swissvale had 286 replacements, and that was out of originally designated 272. So we overperformed. The borough got more lead line replacements than originally intended. And phase 3, 59 replacements were completed as of May 20th. 24 were in Swissvale. To date, 143 of the 694 agreements that have been received are from Swissvale, and there were 108 of the 532 inspections done here. Under delinquent accounts for the period of 4/15 to 5/21, there were 311 termination shut-off service orders, 2,574 yellow notices, 633 pink notices, and 102 people or accounts went into new payment agreements, and 146 previous payment agreements were broken. The policy committee met. We worked on an employee personnel file policy that was approved. The right to know request form has been updated on the website. The mayor of Kingstown used the Bragg Hills Tank driveway. And for that consideration, they made a $5,000 donation to the Dollar Energy Fund for the Water Authority's program. And mainline breaks, there were 36 system-wide done in Swissvale, 173 distribution or service repairs, 25 were in Swissvale. Other business was conducted. The documents are online. And say it with me, if you have or see any water issues, contact WPJWA customer service at 412-243-6200. That's my report. Any questions? 243-6200.
You can still sign up for the red line program.
If you've received the letter, it's
Yes.
still open, yeah.
Yes. And, what's that number? That one I think I have here.
That would be on the letter. I don't know that. That's MS Consultants. I don't know what that phone number is off the top of my head. But you have to have received that
Yes,
letter.
yes,
You,
yes.
you can contact the water authority. On the water authority's website, there is a way to confirm if you have lead or, copper lines. It takes a couple of clicks that you can do.
Yes, and so if you suspect you might, should do the clicking. And of course, and you have to actually be the owner of the home. You can do it as a, I don't know, like a tenant, but it's the landlord that has to actually sign the agreement. You can't sign it.
That's right.
Wonderful, thank you so much for the report. I apologize, I forget your name, last name. Hosa, Mr. Hosa, we're gonna move to our solicitor's report. I don't know if you have anything to add to our meeting.
No reports, but I'll just introduce myself. I'm John Hosa, covering, for Bob tonight while he's on vacation. Very happy to be here and hope to be back soon.
Wonderful, thanks for joining us. Welcome. Well, before we adjourn, are there announcements?
Well, my small announcement is the next time everybody sends out the memo to wear dark colored clothes or black, please get me in on that.
I wear it every day.
You're in
Every
that.
day.
But like, it's like everybody did that. I missed out on it. So next time I want to get a piece of that memo.
Cheap
It's a game they just send through, trust me.
Any other announcements?
I'm gonna wear dark blue next month.
I wear white.
Feel free.
Great place. All right, well, any further ado, I'd like to I would be willing to entertain a motion for.
Motion to adjourn at 8:13 PM.
On the table, all in favor? Opposed? Motion adjourned.